Hey guys, my name is Pansy and welcome to my second episode of the BDO Beginner Series. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. If you haven't seen it, the link will be in the top right or in the description down below. In this video, we're going to do a quick recap of what we covered in the last video and then get into the new stuff. And as always, please do like, comment, and subscribe if you find this video helpful. If you want to support me, the best way to do so is to share this video with your friends and on Discord. Also check me out at twitch.tv/I'mPansy. I stream on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Alright guys, now time for a quick recap. In the last episode, we went over the importance of the main story quest line. This gets you a really good start to the game because it also helps you level up your energy and contribution points right off the bat. Also, I linked you to my guides for leveling up to 61. That's not a mandatory task or anything, but it's recommended to do so because you do get some freebies out of it. Now at this point, let's assume that you are above level 58, let's say close to 61. Now you're probably thinking about how do you progress with gear? Where do you go for making money? And how do you get things started off? The game can be really daunting right off the bat, as there's a lot of depth to this game, and that's something I really enjoy about it. So we're going to start breaking topics down bit by bit, episode by episode, and go over it step by step. Now, if I have any resources which I can link you for more in-depth information, I definitely will throughout the video and down in the description below. So let's get started. To start things off, I want to talk about items you find while grinding. There's a lot of things that you need to know in this game, and the learning curve is huge, I know. But we're going to take it step by step as I said, and I want to show you guys some of the important items you come across which are quite valuable. So in my inventory, you see them right here. Let's start off with the Blackstones. This is the Blackstone armor, and this is the Blackstone weapon. These are used for enhancing armors and weapons respectively, and they can be combined with hard and sharp crystal shards to make higher tier stones called the concentrated stones. So you'll get a lot of these drops from mobs. These are acquired through gathering, which we'll go over in a later episode, but you'll also get them by other means, by daily rewards, attendance rewards, events, Black Spirit adventures, etc. These are things that you might want to just hoard onto, or you can sell them, but if you're going to sell them, just make sure they're at the peak price. Let me show you here. If you go to enhancement and upgrade, go to Blackstone, you'll see them right here, right? So when you click on it, you want to make sure that the price is at its peak when it sells, because Blackstone armors are always in high demand. Right now, for whatever reason, they're flooded the market and they're going back up. So they had a price crash, but now they're going to go back up to their peak price of 210k. So you want to sell them at that price. Now for the weapon stones, these are less popular because of their uses for fail stacking. Blackstone armors are more popular because you use them to fail stack on Reblath, but these two also hit their peak price every now and then. So you want to just hoard onto them until they reach the peak price and then sell them. Like here, their peak price is almost 100,000 more. That's almost 50% more than what they're selling for right now. So definitely do consider hoarding them, but it's up to you. Next up are the Caphra stones. These are also made with Blackstone weapons or armors. By combining them with ancient spirit dust, you can read the description on how to do it with simple alchemy. Caphra stones are probably the most sought after stones in the game because they're so valuable. That is where the progression gear neck is for most endgame players, because after you get full pen gear, the only way you can progress further is to Caphra your gears. By inserting these stones into the gears, you enhance the power of the gears. Listen, that is a very long way off from when you actually need to start using them. So in the beginning, you can sell these if you want. I don't recommend it. I would recommend you hang on to them and then sock it into some gear. For example, I held on to almost 1,000 of these to socket into my Pen Fortuna helmet. It's a green gear which was easily Caphra to C9 and gave 5 DP, which was huge. So these do have some very important value to them. However, nothing wrong in selling them to progress in the game so you can have fun and enjoy the game, okay? Alright, moving on. Next up are memory fragments. Memory fragments are pretty much the bane of any enhancer's existence, because this is where the money sink really goes into, because these are used to repair your gears. Once you fail enhancements on your gear, they reduce in durability, and to get them back up you have to use these. Now for boss gears and orange tier gears, they only recover 1 each, at which you can pay to win and use artisan memories to multiply that use by 5, but still it's an expensive process, and this is where a lot of the money sink goes into, that and fail stacks. But yeah, you can definitely sell these, but these prices do fluctuate a lot because whenever they release a event or a daily login which gives away free memory fragments, these do crash quite often. It's a volatile market. As you can see, at one point they were 1.2 mil. That was terrible. It was atrocious, but now it's back up to a healthy state. So just make sure you find the fluctuation where it's up there over 1.5 mil on NA, and you try to sell it at the peak point. That goes with everything in this game. And if you need quick cash, I understand. I mean, at the end of the day, it's only a few million, but if you're looking to min-max, get the most out of it, if you're patient, that's how you progress in this game in the long run, and it will pay off. So next up after those are the Pure Forest Breath and the Deep Blue Hoof Root. So these are basically awakening mats for dream horses. You can save these if you want to go for your own dream horses later down the line, but the same thing. If you want to progress quickly early on, you can sell these. I just wanted to point these out because these are quite pricey. They're 2.5 mil each almost, and they're definitely worth hanging on to or taking notice of. Next up is the Lilas Petals. So these are a moneymaker for sure. You get them from various places in the game, grinding, gathering, whatnot. I know it looks tempting to sell these for 500k silver, but don't. You want to keep them, guys. After you get your endgame fairy, after you're done rolling for new fairies, what you want to do is you keep exchanging these for sealed fairy wings. You roll that sealed fairy wing and you get new fairy wings. So basically a new fairy, right? You don't use that fairy. You'll exchange that fairy for sweet honey wine. So basically, if you get a tier 1 fairy, it exchanges for 1 sweet honey wine. Tier 2 exchanges for 3. Tier 3 exchanges for 6. And tier 4 exchanges for 10. Now, sweet honey wine on NA goes for 1.6 mil each. So it is definitely more money than just NPCing these. At the moment, I know the market might have crashed a bit, but don't worry, it always rebounds because these are really high consumption items. And you don't have to worry about these staying down too long. They'll always go back up to 1.6 mil. So I just like to hang on to these Lila Petals. I think I have over 500, 600 of them now since I last dumped them. So yeah, definitely if you're a life skiller, you'll get a lot of these. These are good money. Don't NPC them, okay? Now, if you guys don't have a fairy of your own, definitely get one. That is pretty huge. The bonuses from fairies are amazing. And it's a long grind if you're a free-to-play player to get the perfect fairy. So get started as soon as you can. If not, you can just hoard onto your Lila Petals until you're ready to get started with that. Anyway, the Kamasil Temple is east of Heidel, so you can just run along the path here and you'll get there, and the Fairy Queen Taya is over there to exchange with. Now finally, there's these 4 items over here. These are the Ancient Relic Crystal Shard, the Forbidden Books, Scroll of Ancient Language, and the Mancham Voodoo Doll. So basically these are things that drop from mobs while playing the game. In the earlier region, in the regions around Calphion, that's where the Relic Crystal Shards drop. In Medaya region over here is where Forbidden Books drop. And then everything east of Altanova is where the Peel of Face Scroll, the Ancient Language Scrolls drop. And in Kama Sylvia is where you'll get the Mancham Voodoo Dolls. So these are very valuable because you can sell them right off the bat if you don't want to do them. It can be a bit tedious to do the bosses just because you might have a lot of these and then you stack them up and then you do them all. It's just a tedious process in general, but basically you take 5 of these, you arrange them in a plus sign of the same item. So if I had 5 Forbidden Books, I put them in a plus sign, combine them and get the item to summon the monster. Right click on it, it'll take you to the location to do it. Basically, by doing these, for Relic Crystal Shard, Forbidden Books, and Scroll of Ancient Language, you get memory fragments, Blackstone armors, Hunter Seals, which can be exchanged for Blackstone armors, Blackstone weapons, etc. So these are actually really good money. You get more money for doing these than you get for selling these. So if you're a new player, I definitely 100% recommend you do Relic Crystal Shards, Forbidden Books, and Scroll of Ancient Language. Now, Mancham Voodoo Dolls do net profit, but it's a bit more RNG based because you're going to be relying on the Kaffir Stones and Forest Furies, etc. So me personally, I just hoard these and do them later. These actually give decent bit of XP compared to the other ones, like the Mancham Voodoo Dolls. So definitely either sell them or, you can keep them to do later. These three I recommend doing. So basically, let's go over these real quick. In a previous video, I do go over it in depth. That's my most popular money making guide. Basically, for every ancient relic crystal shard, you can expect 1 memory fragment each. So if you spend 5 of these to make a summoning scroll, in total, after you open the loot boxes and everything from the Black Spirit, you can expect around 5 memory fragments. For every forbidden book, you can expect approximately 1.2 memory fragments. So it's a little bit more than the ancient relic crystal shards. These are better to do, but you need higher AP. For example, you can do this with 80 AP, 100, 120 AP around there. This easily with 150, 160 AP, no problem, easy peasy. Anyway, 1.2 memory fragments for each forbidden book and 1.4 memory fragments for each scroll of ancient language. Now you can actually just buy these off the marketplace and do them for profit. So how I do it is I do the math in relation to what I just told you, as well as I look at the price of the memory fragments. For example, here, if I want to do Peel of Face scrolls, that is the scrolls of ancient language, now is a really good time to do it. When you have the price of the memory fragments equal to the scrolls of ancient language, these are pure profit. I used to make over 100 mil an hour by doing these when I was 170 AP, and that's huge for that level, because if I was grinding at that level, I'd be making 40 to 50 mil an hour. So I made a lot of money. I progressed really quickly, but it sucked away my soul because it was so boring. So yeah, you can definitely do it like that, but at the very least, guys, the whole point of me pointing this out is don't throw these away. If you're a new player, if you're under like 220 AP, I definitely recommend you keep these and actually do the scrolls and sell the memory fragments after. That's more money. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Oh boy, now that that's out of the way, make sure you guys are doing the Black Spirit's Adventure, guys. Some of the items that I just covered do show up here, so this is really important to do because they've recently revamped this on PC. I don't know if it's there on console yet, but at least on PC, guys, make sure you do this every day. You get 3 rolls per day, and all you do is click acquire down here and then roll the dice, easy peasy. And yeah, it's free stuff. There's some great rewards here. This one right here is worth 30 mil, I'd say. Yeah, so after tax is like what, 28 or something mil, but it's really good. This is a really nice revamp. It makes a lot more money for free for doing nothing, just clicking a few buttons, and something you shouldn't ignore. Now let's talk about dark rifts. Dark rifts are rift bosses which pop up across the map. You can see them by clicking on the menu down here, dark rifts, and you'll see all the bosses which are there. You can click this arrow to autopath to that location. But first thing you'll probably notice is this one is red, it has a V on it, this one is dull, and it has an I on it. So basically, this is going from I to IV to V. That's basically Pry, Duo, Try, Tet, and Pen. That represents the difficulty of the bosses. So as soon as they spawn, as soon as they appear, they're immediately starting off at the max level. That is at V, that is Pen. You can start doing it right away. You don't lose anything for dying to these bosses. You just respawn nearby. You can actually brute force your way through it, but it's really soul crushing and depressing to get clapped by these things. I was able to do these with a little bit of struggle with, I'd say around 150 AP, 200 DP. The basic quest gear is enough, but yeah, I did die quite a few times, but I didn't care. I'm like, I'm not losing anything and I'm getting money out of it. So if not, you can just wait for a few days until they devalue. In terms of the difficulty, the items you get from them are going to be the same regardless of the difficulty, so don't worry. You don't have to feel bad for waiting for them to get easier. But yeah, once they're at the lowest level, basic quest gear, 140, 150 AP is more than enough to kill these. Don't worry about it. If anything, just brute force and get it done. The rewards for doing these are really good. This is a rare drop, Remnants of the Rift. This is something that you can use to make a black star later down the line. So definitely worth doing this, guys. The RNG boxes are always quite rewarding. I know it can be depressing when they keep giving Cron Stones, but at times they do give really good accessories as well. You guys can see one of my previous videos for an RNG session I did. I'll link it in the description down below, where I made over $1 billion just opening these boxes. So what I like to do is I like to save them up. Once I have like 20, 30 of them, I'll open them up, get a few billion, and feel happy about it. You also get Blackstone armors, memory fragments, ancient spirit dust, which is great. There's some which don't give the RNG boxes, but in turn, they give a lot of these ancient spirit dust, which can be made into Caphras stones and are just profit in general. So make sure you do all of them. And yeah, you see these dark spirits greed. These are really cool. These are one of the only ways I think for free-to-play players to get item collection scrolls, that is the loot scrolls. Loot scrolls are hard to come by for free-to-play players, but they do give them out from events and such. So every week when there's new events, if you're a new player, if you're a low-level player, do the events. They give away so much free money, so many free things. They're definitely worth doing. Now, if you guys are wondering how to find out what the events are and how to do them, it can be overwhelming in the beginning. It can be a bit annoying to find all the details, but it's pretty easy. Just come to the main Black Desert website for your region, go to news, updates, find the latest patch notes, open that up, and the first thing they talk about are the events, the new events, the ongoing events, and the events which ended. So for each of these, they put up their own guide, so it's pretty easy. So if you just click, it'll give you all the details you need to know and how to do it and all the rewards. So if you see here, these are really good rewards, guys. 250 ancient spirit dust, that's almost 50 Caphras stones, great money, free gold bar with a lot of value to it, memory fragments, and so many things here for free. So every week, if you're a newer player, try to do the events. I know they can be a bit difficult at times, but do what you can. Leave no stone unturned, because this game is known for being very generous with their events. For example, during their anniversary events, they gave out like over $1 billion silver worth of stuff to every player. A lot of free pearl items through all the events, through their attendance rewards and such. So that's actually a really big passive income for a lot of players, and it really impacts newer players because it's so much more valuable to you. So definitely do this, keep an eye on the events, and try to hit them up every week. And finally, I want you guys to keep track of world bosses as well. The two most notable ones are Garmoth and Vel. Garmoth spawns in Duvenkroon in this area called Garmoth's Nest, directly north of Duvenkroon. Basically what you do for the fight is the dragon spawns, you hit the dragon. As soon as you hit the dragon and the HP bar pops up on top, that means you got a hit in, and you can just chill, you can just hide in the back and just take the loot after it dies. Now, if you are geared, definitely go and participate in the fight actively and do as much damage as you can. The next one is Vel. Vel spawns all the way out in the ocean over here. So to get a group for Vel, you can just wait until it's the timer for Vel and go to Valia, and you can shout in server chat and find yourself a group. But I recommend joining a guild. That is the most important thing you can do for a newer player. The best way to do so is to make friends and talk to people and find a group of people that you want to hang out with. Or you can just search for one on server chat. Me, I have my own little family guild, which I absolutely enjoy being a part of. And you just have to find the right guild for you. There's some which are oriented around life skilling, some are oriented around being social and just a beginner friendly guild. Others are node war guilds, serious PvP guilds. So find the guild which is right for you. Being a part of a guild is such a huge part of BDO, and it really enhances your experience here if you have friends to play with. And that is one of the most important things I'll tell you. You have to have fun with this game, because if you're trying to rush to the end game, it's going to take you over a year regardless to reach like the top echelon of players. So it is a very long grind. The most important thing you can do is have fun along the way. Find yourself a guild, make sure you're hitting up those world bosses. Now, other than the ones I mentioned that are Garmoth and Vel, those are the most valuable ones because of their drops. Vel's Heart and Garmoth's Heart are the most expensive of the world boss drops, I think. So other than that, there are other world bosses which spawn. For example, if you look on the map, I know it looks cluttered. Basically, you see here, this is Zarka's area. If you come here, there's a cave which you can go into. You can fight that boss there whenever it spawns. Over near Olvia, south of Olvia, is Karanda. That's for the Dandelion weapon. Beggs is west of Heidel. These are all bosses that are quite valuable to the game, because that's how boss gear is introduced into the game, by killing the world bosses. So let me show you how to find the boss timers. There isn't a boss timer in the game, but there are websites and Discord channels which can help you with that. I'm not going to give you a specific Discord because you guys are from different regions, so I'll show you guys a website. For this video, I'm going to use MMO Timer because I use this personally as a stream overlay for my boss timers, and Pretty useful. Just come over to the website. You can select your region over here and you can see the schedule. And you can see which ones are coming up next, how many minutes until, hours until, etc. You can definitely keep boss alts to help you hit those bosses a lot more frequently, so you save time from running around all over the map trying to reach them. That's up to you. I'd recommend at least, you know, if you're going to do that, get a ranged character, something like a witch or a ranger, you know, or an archer, and get them to 56 and get the free Oasis gear if it's available on your region. Oasis gear is pretty useful because it really devalued a lot of the lower level gear because it's just free try boss gear. So to get that, you just go to Ellie from any of the cities, any of the major cities near the stable master. She's usually around here. Talk to her, get the gear, and you can set up a boss alt. But personally, I haven't had much success with the boss alts anymore. They used to be really good for whatever reason. I've been getting really trashy loot from them for months. But, you know, you can give it a shot if you want and see how it works for you. Now, one big thing about this game which really helped out is setting up passive incomes. Having passive incomes, or at least easy incomes, they're not generally passive, but a worker empire is something that I talked about a bit in the last video. I gave you a link to my worker empire guide. That's something that you progress through the game. It does take time to get artisan workers in each of the cities that you need them in, and it's a long process, so you want to get started as soon as possible. But that is like free income. As long as you keep the workers working, you get free money out of it. So another thing I like doing is farming. Now, I've mentioned farming so many times in my streams and on my previous videos, but it's such a good way to make money. Within a week, you can start making 50 to 70 mil a day from farming alone. So it's absolutely valuable for a newer player. In addition to farming, there's also Imperial cooking. For both of these, I'll link my guide down below in the description where I'll go into in depth about how to do this. Now, in this video, I'm just going to show you how to set up your farm, just so you have a quick go-to and a start, and you know what you want to start growing. To start things off, you want to come to Flaviano here in Heidel. I'm right here in this location. Basically, I'm right above the area where the South Stable Master is. So you just come up here and get to here where the fountain is and speak to Flaviano, and you can exchange 10 contribution points for 1 large fence. You want the large fences. You definitely want to do this as soon as you get 100 contribution points, even if you have to disable some of your nodes temporarily, whatnot. Definitely worth doing so, but at the same time, if you got like potatoes or chicken nodes going, you might want to keep those. But this will cost you 100 contribution points, and it is the best contribution points that you will spend. Now let me hop onto my farming character and I'll show you what you do with the farm after you get the fences. Alright, we are on my farming character and I have my fences here. You'll notice they're smaller than the ones you might have because I'm at master farming. You can get to the same level pretty quickly, but they're the exact same function as the large fences. They're just smaller and easier to manage because there's less in size. What you want to do is, the first thing you want to buy are special hump mushrooms. So let me see. So these hypha are the seeds. I want to get you guys started off on these because special hump mushrooms have a very slow growth cycle. Like within 2.5 hours, they're completely grown and you can harvest or breed them. And one reason I want to make you guys specifically do these is because special hump mushrooms, not only are they quick, but you can get by without having to deal with the market. So for example, let's say you're doing special hot peppers. So special hot peppers, the prices fluctuate. Like this is, you know, the same for any other ingredient which is used for cooking. Demand goes up, demand goes down. Sometimes they sell for over 17, 18K. Sometimes they're selling for 13K. So this is really irregular. I don't like that and having to deal with that. So what I do is I do special hot mushrooms and I spam breed on them. By breeding means you get more seeds out of it as well as some byproducts. You get like 1 to 3 seeds and byproducts which can be turned into money as well. I'll show you guys later in the video. So let's first get a lot of special hump mushrooms and I'll show you guys how to drop your farm and what you want to do with it. So there are two common places for where you want to drop your farm. One is south of Heidel and the other is north of Logia. Now you can technically drop it wherever you prefer, but me, I use north of Logia because it's right next to Valia and there's an NPC here at Logia farm for me to easily sell stuff. So this is what I like to do. I like to drop it over here. This is just an example. Why I use special hunt mushroom is because it doesn't depend on the market and you make money primarily by the byproducts. Whenever I mention a money making method on the video, it does have an impact if enough people do it in game, right? So this is something that you can do without having to worry about the market conditions, because all you do is spam breed. There's two options. You harvest the crop for the specific item, or you can just use breed to get the seeds and the byproducts. The byproducts are right here. There are 5 types of byproducts here, and by combining 20 of 2 of these, you get special materials called Stonetail fodder. So press L, go to simple cooking, and select 2 of these. And once you start, it'll consume 20 of each of those items, and it'll give me 1 to 3 Stonetail fodder. Here we got 2, and each of these sell for 2.5 mil each. These are really good money. This is how I make money from farming primarily. There are times when I actually farm for items I'm using for cooking, and that is probably the best way to make money from this. But as a new player, just focus on special hunt mushrooms. These have a really quick growth cycle, and it's a really great way to start off. So basically, when you have a farm full of special hunt mushroom, what you want to do is not have any worker here. And as you let these grow, you'll have to prune and kill pests whenever they get infected, and doing that is what levels up your farming. That's how you get the most amount of XP from farming. And as you use breed on these seeds, you'll get seeds back, right? So you just want to plant those seeds right back into the farm, and excess seeds you want to sell in the marketplace, and you want to just collect these byproducts for money. Now, once you get magic seeds, that's when things start getting a bit different. Now, magic seeds are equivalent multiples of special seeds. So for example, magic hunt mushroom seed takes up 5 slots in your fence, but it's equivalent of 5 special hunt mushroom seeds when you harvest or breed them, and all it does is save time. Now, what I want you guys to do is just use breed on all of your magic seeds and all your special seeds. Now, once you have a full farm of magic hunt mushrooms, I want you to just breed and plant all the seeds you can in your farm, and any excess seeds you can actually just NPC over in Logia farm over there and just take that raw cash. Your main money maker from this method is going to be the byproducts here. Do not turn any of these in for whatever reward they're showing here. Just use them to make Stonetail fodder and you'll be good. This is a really good way to start off. Me personally, I switched to hot pepper seed right here because I'm running out of time. I'm not doing my farm runs as much as I used to. A magic hot pepper seed takes 10 slots, and it's gonna mean me doing a 1-minute farm run versus 2 minutes, and hunt mushrooms like take 2.5 hours to grow. This is taking about 4.5 hours. So I'll be doing it a lot less frequently, spending a lot less time. But anyway, if you're a newer player, definitely do this. And the best moneymaker from farming is going to be growing something that you're using for cooking. But this is a great way to start off with. You don't have to worry about the market conditions. You don't have to worry about anyone else. You can just start off and start making money. Now, do check the links in the description below. I have my Imperial cooking and farming guides, my passive money making guide, which also goes into some details of this. And I'll also link in the description the Google sheet of the seeds, which show the profit per day you can expect from a certain seed, certain crop. And also the spreadsheet for cooking, which will show you the best items to cook for profit for Imperial cooking. Now, we'll go into more depth about Imperial cooking in the next video, but these are just some things I want you guys to get started off with. In this video, we went over quite a few things which are good to know. This game has just way too much content, so if I don't segment it out, we'll never get through a single video. So yeah, in this video, we went over quite a few things. Black Spirit Adventure, the Lila Petals, the world bosses, and rift bosses. Now, these are all segmented things which are, sort of interconnected with the loot and everything, but, while they can seem tedious, they do make a lot of money. For example, the Dark Rift boxes that we open up every month, I'm making at least $1 billion off those. Like, of course, RNG is a factor. There are times when you might not get anything. There's some times when you'll get very lucky with it, right? So it is a factor of RNG, but as long as you do everything that I mentioned right there in the video, you will make money in the long run. And it's a really good way to start off with these methods, because you want to explore the game and have fun. You want to do combat and experience what the game has to offer before you start getting into the hardcore grind, the hardcore life skilling and whatnot. So these are all relevant items and relevant things that, you know, play a factor into your entry into BDO and getting a good start into the game. Now, with that being said, I know you guys do like the game for what it is, especially when you're a new player. It's pretty, it's fun, the combat's great. In this video, I'm going to give you a few grind spots and the relevant AP, DP you want to have in order to grind in these spots. Actually, the DP isn't going to matter as much till later down the game. So we'll just go according to AP, but let's get into a few beginner grinding locations that you can use. The first grinding location I'd like to call out is Helms. This is east of Valia, and I once did an elite rotation video, but it's changed a little bit because they changed the inside of the cavern there. So if you want to check it out, you can, but otherwise you can explore the area. There's a lot of elites all over this place. The elite golems, they drop heave helmets, they drop scarlet necklaces, a lot of forbidden books. It's just good money. I was making over 30 to 40 mil an hour right off the bat from 80 AP, but that was with doing the elite rotations. Now, if you want to do the elites, what you want to have at a minimum, I know this is level 52. I recommend you at least get to 56 and awaken, or get to succession. That is going to be the differentiator here between making mediocre money and making decent money. Now, with that being said, Helms is the place that propelled me all the way to like 150 plus AP, but right now the game's much different from when I played, with all the freebie, with the gears, with the seasonal server, with the Oasis gear, whatnot. So in between, if you do need a moneymaker, I recommend doing either forbidden books or scrolls of ancient languages. Like doing those peel of face scrolls, that was a huge moneymaker for me. Peel of face scroll, by the way, is scroll of ancient languages. That used to make over 100 mil an hour, whereas grinding was making me like 50 mil an hour. So if you're able to buy those scrolls for the right price, that is a good option. Otherwise, you can do any of these methods I mentioned in the video. You can grind here at Helms for a very long time, all the way until the point where you're ready for Polyforest. Polys is great because it's such good XP and the money's okay. I mean, it's nothing great. If you popped a loot scroll, you'd be making actually a pretty decent amount. But I'd recommend grinding here just because it's a really good place to get SP. Skill points are really important in this game. In order to unlock your maximum DPS, even at level 61, you need a lot of skill points. So for most specs, you need at minimum 1750 for all the bells and whistles and everything. Some classes require less startup skill points than others. Generally, awakened classes, awakened specializations require less skill points to start off, but require more to get every skill, which most players don't need. You definitely don't need to have every skill to be competent in the game. But Polyforest really helps you in that regards, because getting to that point where you're over like 1700, 1750 skill points is going to be really important once you get started at the end game spots and you're looking for more damage, because at the earlier areas, you're going to be pretty much one-shotting or two-shotting the mobs. Whereas later down the line, once you're at 240 plus AP, once you start going to Akhman, Histria, Kratuga, that's when you're really going to need a lot of skill points and you need a lot of gear, and you got to be strong in general. So Polyforest is a really good spot. It's really a notable spot for me. I'd recommend 175 AP, around 240, 250 DP to be comfortable. I was grinding here with 200 DP, just saying. The reason why I gave a little bit more is because people do get a bit pissy over here and flag up on you, and there could be a little bit of PvP. Why? I don't know. It's just how it is, but that's just something to keep in mind. Now, the next spot I'd like to call out is Bloodwolves. Bloodwolves Settlement is a spot you can go at 170 AP, 200 DP, just like Polyforest, almost the same requirements. But as it is with Polyforest, even in Blood Wolves, people will flag up, and that's where your main concern would be. If they greatly outgear you, you got no shot, because at Blood Wolves, you will find people with a lot of gear. They're probably grinding for the pot piece, for the infinite HP potion. So is what it is, but if you pop a loot scroll here and you're quite comfortable with the rotation, you can make over 80 mil an hour pretty consistently, but it's not a spot I recommend using loot scrolls. If you're going for the potion piece, yeah, loot scrolls are definitely necessary, but otherwise I wouldn't use any loot scrolls all the way until you're at the end game, or that is like 240 AP range. So save them up when you have them early on. But yeah, let's move on to the next area. Now, once you're at 200 AP plus, you can consider grinding in Forest Rhonaros. Here it recommends 200 AP, 260 DP. I'd recommend you get a little bit more, probably around 210, 220 AP. This is also a spot where a potion piece drops for the HP potion. That's the Bronze Tinted Nebulum piece. So this area can be contested, but in normal servers, I don't really see much fighting going around here because there's a lot of rotations here. Once you go to like Arsha, it's like a bloodbath there. It's a war zone, dude. So it's a good grinding spot. With the loot scroll, I was making 90 to 100 mil an hour with a consistent rotation. It's definitely worth grinding here if you're looking for a good spot. Now, in between Polys, Blood Wolves, and Rhonaros, you could actually do Proddy Cave. Proddy Cave is a decent moneymaker. Only issue with Proddy Cave, let me show you in the game because it's not showing up on this map. So Proddy Cave is out here in the ocean. Like I said, that's the only issue, because you have to sail from Valia all the way up north to this island, and you can get into Proddy Cave here. This is Wada Island. But it's a decent money-making spot for a mid-level character, like, you know, 200 AP range. Recommend is 170, but if it's at that AP, I'd recommend going to Blood Wolves or Polyforest instead. Easier to get to, and the rotations are really nice here. But if you want to try it out, if you need a change of pace, definitely you can give Proddy Cave a try. The red shard for the Tungrad ring does drop there, so it is a rare drop, but it's worth quite a bit of money, over 100 mil at times. So definitely consider taking a look here if you need a change of pace. And the last spot I'll point you guys towards is probably Moncham Forest. It says 240 here on this map, but you know, 220 AP is more than enough to start grinding there. Only thing is they can hit you kind of hard, so try to get at least 275, 280 DP. You can go in with less. I've definitely grinded with less, but it depends on your class. It depends on how comfortable you are, which buffs you're using. So this is also a decent spot, but personally, I never was a fan of Moncham Forest just because the rare drops there aren't very worthwhile. Like, for example, the Narc earrings aren't worth much, but the trash loot is actually quite good. The trash loot is worth a lot more than other regions. So anyway, those are the spots I want to call out. I'll have a future video coming out soon for an overall picture for your AP ranges and grind spots, but for now I just want to point you guys to here, because after you do your main story quest line, after you get to 56 plus, after you have the Oasis gear, whether you're a seasonal character and you have full Pride to Tri gear, these are all spots that will start coming into picture, and as you progress, these are all areas you can grind. So for seasonal characters, it's a bit different because the most important thing is getting the time-filled stone so you can progress your Tuvala gear, and also the Tuvala ore. So Polyforest is a very contested area on seasonal, but it is one of the best spots just because of the mob density. Me personally, I'm only going to shout out this one spot because it really came into play for me in the first season. Desert Fogans at Titium Valley. These are clutch. A lot of people don't make the trip out here. Me, I just grabbed a camel and I just ran off southeast, and I used to grind here all the time, and this was one of the few places where on a seasonal server I was able to hold down a rotation. So if polys are pretty crowded, I recommend going there. There are many other spots you can grind for time-filled stones, but those are my favorite ones. And as always, you can use the same spots that I mentioned earlier. but it comes down to what class you're playing. I mentioned this a lot. It really depends on that because the mobility for each class is going to be different. Your shape of your AoEs, your cooldowns are going to be different. So certain classes excel at certain places. Like for example, my Mystic didn't do that well in Akhman, whereas in Histria, in Krituga, where the mobs are tankier and they're more stacked up together, that's where Mystic really shined. Whereas in Akhman, they're really spread out, so I wasn't able to kill them as efficiently. So make sure you pick your spot based on where you enjoy grinding and where your class can really excel. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. I really hope it helped you out. Leave in the comments down below what you want to see in a future video, what topics you want covered. I am going to cover pretty much everything eventually. This is going to be a long series because there's just so much. A lot more to come. I know these are still pretty basic, but I want to take you guys step by step through the whole journey of progressing in BDO. I know it can be quite daunting. Definitely was really confusing for me and quite overwhelming, but you know what? That's a part of the journey, and this is one of those games that can definitely burn you out. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Let me know in the comment section below how this can be better for you, if you guys got any suggestions. And check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/Impansy and my Discord channel down in the description below. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next video that should be coming out later this week or next week. And the next episode for this series will also be next week. Until then, take care guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.